Good morning, brothers and sisters. This is the 24th of December, the day before the Lord came to earth. So we really love you to enjoy this day. I really love this song. It's called Silent Night.
Silent Night? Oh, Silent Night, that's a good song, that. Actually, there's a really good story about Silent Night. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Maybe the folks would like it as well.
I hope so.
I hope so as well. Yeah. Well, it's entitled, Did the Mouse Do It? Why do the nations rage so furiously together, and why do the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth rise up, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed. That's based on Psalm 2 and verses 1 and 2. Was it the mouse that nibbled on the airways of the organ that caused the organ to break? That caused the priest to worry about the music at his church Christmas service? That inspired the creation of a simple little song that could be sung without an organ? That gave us that favourite of carols, Silent Night. Probably didn't ken this one, eh?
No.
Well, like many other legends of popular culture, the story behind the creation of Silent Night is a mixture of truth, mistaken facts, and romantic tales. And sometimes the truth, as is always said, is stranger than fiction. Isn't it surprising that for the very first time Silent Night was ever sung was in a peaceful, snow-covered village, a church in Austria? It was a church named, of all names, for St. Nicholas himself. Franz Gruber, the organist at St. Nicholas in Oberndorf, told the story of that first performance. On December 24th, 1818, Herr Joseph Mohr brought a poem to the organist, Franz Gruber, asking him to set it for two solo voices, choir and guitar accompaniment. So maybe you could sing an a cappella guitar.
Yeah.
Maybe no.
Yeah,
All right.
singing.
Gruber fulfilled this request on the same evening with a simple and easy composition, which was performed immediately afterwards and with some success on that same holy night. Joseph Mohr was the new priest at the little chapel in Oberndorf, Austria, that Christmas Eve of 1818. He and his village choir typically might prepare a fine concert for the midnight Christmas Mass. But this year, the organ had broken down. Perhaps it was a snacking mouse. Maybe it was only pipes rusted from the moist air from the river town, or possibly, or perhaps, it was something else. In any case, Father Mohr had written a simple poem with 6 verses and asked his organist, Franz Gruber, to compose a tune that they could sing together to the accompaniment of Father Mohr's guitar. Herr Gruber, who was an accomplished composer, wrote the music that Christmas Eve in 1818, but it was many years before the world gave the credit for their lovely carol of peace to these two humble musicians. Like a fire brigade handing off a bucket of water from hand to hand, the words and music for Silent Night were passed from place to place, changing along the way until its source was completely forgotten. By the time the carol became popular in the United States, most people thought it was an anonymous German folk song. Franz Gruber helped prove his and Mohr's authorship when a Berlin-based committee investigated the origins of Silent Night in 1854. The village of Oberndorf heard Silent Night for the first time because their organ was broken. The world heard Silent Night because of the master organ builder who finally came to repair that organ. When he returned to his home in the Tyrol region of the western Austria, he took with him a copy of the song. It was heard there by the Straussers, a family of glove-making folk singers, and they called it the Song from Heaven. So Silent Night was renamed the Song of Heaven. And sang it to attract business as they sold their gloves at the German trade fairs. This version, which differed somewhat from Mohr's and Gruber's, was published in Dresden and became popular in Europe. Another Tyrolean family, the Singing Rainers, brought Silent Night to the United States, just as if they were an early version of the Sound of Music clan, which we've heard. Silent night, all is calm, sleep in heavenly peace. And we're going to get a bit dozy as well. From its opening refrain and the unforgettable conclusion of its first verse to the sweetness of its melody, Silent Night is a song of peace. It is the ideal Christmas song. Christmas is supposed to be about peace. Jesus is a Prince of Peace after all. The Jews of Jesus' time, like us, hoped for a Messiah who would save them from their enemies and bring earthly peace and prosperity. Peace on earth of that sort didn't happen then, and it hasn't happened yet. There's always been those who hate God. There's always been warfare between good and evil. Jesus said once, I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. That was Matthew 10 and 34. Jesus inspires rage from those who hate God's law. He is not a God who can be ignored. King Herod tried to destroy Jesus at his birth. Pilate arranged his death. Yet even though God's enemies succeeded for a time, the promise is that God is in control. His enemies is always doomed to fail. King Herod could not kill baby Jesus.